Hey guys, welcome back to another video in my AP Biology or Biology Olympiad prep playlist. In the last video we discussed the different properties water has because of its ability to hydrogen bond. Today we're going to be talking about acids and bases and their roles in biological processes. Let's get started. First, we're going to be looking at the dissociation of water. Like we talked about before, water molecules are attracted to each other and form hydrogen bonds. This is what that looks like. You have a water molecule, H2O. The oxygen has a partial negative charge, the hydrogens have partial positive charges, and another water molecule that looks exactly the same. Partial positive charges, partial negative charge on the oxygen. Now, these opposite partial charges between the oxygen and hydrogen are attracted to each other and you form a hydrogen bond. So sometimes what happens is this hydrogen that has formed a hydrogen bond with the oxygen on the other water molecule will separate from its own molecule to stay with the oxygen, but it leaves behind its electron. So what we end up with is a water molecule, which is H2O, minus a hydrogen, so we get OH. But because the hydrogen left behind its electron, this molecule has an extra electron, so it has a negative charge. This is called a hydroxide ion. On the other hand, we also get a water molecule plus a hydrogen atom. Now, because the hydrogen atom left its electron behind on the other molecule, all that transfers is a proton, so it has an extra positive charge. So you end up with H3O, but with a positive charge, so H3O plus, or a hydronium ion. So basically, instead of having two water molecules, we end up with an H3O plus ion and an OH minus ion. This is the chemical reaction for this process. You have two water molecules as the reactants, and they form one hydronium ion, H3O plus, and a hydroxide ion, OH minus. In pure water, the concentrations of hydronium ions and hydroxide ions are equal. Now let's discuss acids and bases. An acid is a substance that increases the concentration of H plus ions in a solution. For example, let's take hydrochloric acid, or HCl. In water, hydrochloric acid dissociates into its ions H plus and Cl minus. When it dissociates, all it's doing is basically donating H plus ions into the solution, so it's increasing the concentration of H plus ions in the solution. Bases, on the other hand, are substances that reduce the H plus ion concentration in a solution. They can do this in two ways. The first way is a direct way. All they do is basically accept H plus ions to form new compounds. An example of this would be ammonia, or NH3. NH3 accepts an H plus ion to become an ammonium ion, or NH4 plus. So by accepting the H plus ion, ammonia directly reduces the concentration of H plus ions in the solution because it's using up the H plus ions to form a new compound. Now, the second way that bases can decrease the H plus ion concentration in a solution is indirectly. They do this by donating OH minus ions. An example of this would be sodium hydroxide. In water, sodium hydroxide dissociates to form Na plus and OH minus. Now, the OH minus that it donates will in turn bond with an H plus ion to form a water molecule. So by donating hydroxide ions, when it dissociates, it's indirectly reducing the H plus ion concentration because the OH minus bonds to the H plus to form water. Now let's look at the pH scale. In any aqueous solution, that means a solution with water, The product of the concentration of H plus ions and the concentration of OH minus ions is 10 to the negative 14th. So, H plus ion concentration times hydroxide ion concentration equals 10 to the negative 14th molarity. Now let's get back to the pH scale. The pH scale is a way to measure the acidity or basicity of a substance. The way it does this is it basically measures the concentration of H plus ions in a solution. So a 1 on the pH scale would be a concentration of 10 to the negative 1 molarity H plus ions. A 2 on the pH scale would be 10 to the power of negative 2 molarity H plus ions. A 14 on the pH scale means that that solution contains 10 to the negative 14th molarity H plus ions. So we already know that 10 to the negative 1, which is 1, is larger than 10 to the negative 14th. So a 1 on the pH scale has more H plus ions than a 14 on the pH scale. This indicates that the smaller a number is on the pH scale, the more acidic it is. Now here's a general guideline to help you understand acidity and basicity. A 1 to 6 on the pH scale is an acidic substance. A 7 on the pH scale is a neutral substance like water or salt. And an 8 to 14 is a basic substance. Also notice how a change of 1 on the pH scale is actually a tenfold change in the concentration of H plus ions. So if you have a solution with a pH of 2 and a solution with a pH of 3, the solution with a pH of 2 has 10 times the H plus ions as the solution with a pH of 3. And that's all you need to know about the pH scale. Now, buffer systems. Our body is very sensitive to pH changes because the chemical processes in our body only occur in specific environments. That's why we have a system that prevents major pH changes. This is called a buffer system. A buffer is a substance that minimizes changes in the concentrations of hydrogen and hydroxide ions in a solution. It does this by accepting hydrogen ions when the solution is too acidic and donating hydrogen ions when the solution is too basic. An example of a buffer is carbonic acid, or H2CO3. When a solution becomes too basic, carbonic acid can dissociate into a bicarbonate ion, or HCO3-, and a hydrogen ion. Because it dissociates and donates a hydrogen ion, it's increasing the concentration of hydrogen ions in the solution, and therefore it raises the pH of the solution and returns it to a stable, more neutral pH. When the solution becomes too acidic, on the other hand, the reverse reaction takes place. So bicarbonate ion, or HCO3-, will bond to a hydrogen ion to form carbonic acid again. Because the bicarbonate ion is accepting the H plus ion, it reduces the concentration of H plus ions in the solution and lowers the pH again. And that's all you need to know for this video. If this video helped, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them down below. As usual, I will link these notes and a checklist of everything you need to know from this video in the description box. And good luck studying. Bye!